As I rise to speak for the last time in this place, I rise as the 505th woman to take her seat in Parliament, but the first woman ever to represent the cities of London and Westminster. The seat was first established in 1298. So it took us a while, but we got there eventually, ladies. And I'm absolutely proud that last year I was given the freedom of the city. It has been, as so many of our colleagues have said, such a privilege to represent what I consider to be the capital of the capital, home of Parliament, to the monarch, our legal profession, and of course the City of London and the most amazing West End. The Cities of London and Westminster is, I think, the most amazing constituency to represent. And it has so many iconic sites, but the most important part of my constituency is the people and the neighbourhoods. Soho, Marylebone, Pimlico, Fitzrovia, Covent Garden. I could go on, Belgravia, Knightsbridge, the city. And in every single part of this constituency there are amazing people and amazing residents' associations and amenity societies, and I want to thank every single one of them for their support of me, and I've been very, very proud to receive quite a lot of emails and letters since I announced I was stepping down. Just many saying, I've never voted Conservative, but I voted for you. So I thank them all. And Mr. Deputy Speaker, it's been a short time. It's been one term. I didn't expect it to be one term. I thought, well, I hope I might scrape a second term. But in that 4.5 years, I started on the greasy pole of the ministerial ladder, being appointed quite early on as the PPS at then the it wasn't DLUC then, it was, what was it? Such a long time ago. But I found quite early on that it wasn't for me, because as payroll, I think the whips probably realised as well, but as payroll, I couldn't say anything. And you know, many of my colleagues know me quite well. I don't like to be, quiet. So I did ask the then Chief Whip if I could step down, and he said yes, okay. So since then, I have been able to campaign, and that's what I love. I love to campaign, and I'm delighted that in this one and only term that I have served, we have secured the short-term Let's registration, and we have one of the first things I did achieve, and I'm probably one of the proudest moments, is securing the amendment to the Domestic Abuse Bill, which introduced the fact that children are now recognised as victims if they're living in a household where domestic violence or domestic abuse exists. And I'm sure the now Lord Chancellor will never forget the conversation we had when I was a very new Green MP and didn't realise, as a government MP, you shouldn't really lay amendments.
Told that in first week.
And the Lord Chancellor was the minister taking it through, and we had some what I would call robust conversations, but he did come around to my point of view eventually. I have campaigned since I got here to repeal the Vagrancy Act of 1824, which makes it illegal to rustle. I am very, very sad that the Criminal Justice Bill will not be going through wash-up, and therefore the Vagrancy Act, sadly, will remain on the statute books, and I would plead to whoever leads the next government, and I hope it is the Conservative Party, that they do repeal the Vagrancy Act. Please see that through. Other things that I'm very proud of doing is the newborn baby screening, when the Secretary of State for Health, the right honourable member for West Suffolk, from the first ministerial meetings I've ever had, when with the heel prick, Mr. Deputy Speaker, we only test for 9 diseases in newborn babies, the lowest in the Western world. And with working with the then Health Secretary, we changed that, and now, today, babies are now tested for hundreds of diseases, so I'm very proud of that. And then obviously the Fertility Workplace Pledge, which I've I had a private member's bill, but we all know what happens to some of them, and therefore I set up the voluntary fertility workplace pledge, working alongside brilliant organisations, including Fertility Matters at Work and UK Fertility Network UK and others. And we are now having companies, big and small, across the country, signing up to have fertility policies in work. And also, I really, really do hope that the next government will see through the idea I had only recently, which is the British Jewish History Month. And I have tasked the Honourable Member for Hillingdon with this task, and I hope, and I know he will see this through, because he knows what will happen if he doesn't. And, but finally, from all my campaigns, Mr Deputy Speaker, maybe there's one that may be well known, and that's pedicabs. And I have to thank all my honourable friends on this side who were quite surprised to find it in the King's speech, and so was I, to be honest, but it has been my life's work, believe me, to secure pedicabs licensing scheme for London, and 2 private members' bills, a transport bill that never saw conclusion, and then the King's speech. And I have to put on record my thanks, and some will be quite surprised by this, but my thanks to the former member for Uxbridge, who, when having a conversation with me, said, "What is happening to pedicabs regulation?" And I said, "Well, you may want to have a conversation with the Honourable Member for Christchurch." He responded, I can't actually tell you exactly what he responded, but he did make it clear that there were no pedicabs in Christchurch, and I said, "I know that, sir." Anyway, a couple of weeks later, I have a text from the then Prime Minister saying, "Where are we with pedicabs?" And I said, "We're still not getting it through." And he said, "Leave it with me." This was at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning. The Prime Minister of the day says, "Leave it with me." By 4 o'clock that afternoon, I had the then Transport Secretary phoning me up saying, "We're going to put pedicabs in the transport bill." But obviously that didn't happen. But then when the Honourable Member for Richmond became Prime Minister, I am absolutely delighted, and I will always be thankful for him and his team for putting pedicab regulation into the King's speech. And it will make such a difference to central London, to tourists, to women, and girls' safety, and also to local residents' amenity. So I will thank you, and I do thank you all for supporting me in that. Mr Deputy Speaker, there has to be some thank yous before I leave this place. Obviously, my amazing office, who are here today, Louise, Parry, Ben Sewell, Lucy Scoffin, James Lloyd, and obviously and Harry Mackay, who have been amazing, and I could not have achieved anything like I have achieved today. 32,000 pieces of casework, apparently. Not that I've done much of that. You all know you don't do your own casework. And I also have to thank my amazing association team, to Reese and Paula, and to my I've started something, haven't I? And to my long-suffering agent James Cockram. My dear close friends, my outside of this place, friends are so important. And Kate and Andrew McCarthy, Claire Hambro, Christabel Flight, Daniel Astaire, Sally Vernon-Evans, Josie Lyon and Julie Malloy have kept me sane. And obviously my amazing parliamentary friends, the Trophic women, though thanks to the Honourable Member for South Ribble for pointing out to me that actually it wasn't trophy women that I thought it was Trophic women. And also the amazing members, and I'm not going to be able to name everybody, but for Brecon and Radnorshire, Eastleigh, Rutland and Melton, Aylesbury, Stafford, McMorlands, Romsey and Southampton North, North Dorset, Swindon South, North West Campshire, Elmet and Rothwell and Redcar. And I have to thank the Honourable Member for Redcar for pointing out to me on my birthday once that I was old enough to be his mother and he wouldn't be my firstborn. So thanks for that. And obviously for my friends across the aisle, as we've heard in this place, it is so important to have friends from across the aisle, and I will always be grateful for the Honourable Member for Vauxhall, who has been the most amazing constituency neighbour, and we did so much together, particularly with the 5th anniversary of Westminster Bridge terrorist attack just last year. And also the Honourable Member for Cardiff West, who many people in this place have been quite surprised when they've heard me refer to him as Sir, because he was my teacher in school. And also, finally, on the other side, there are many, but Westminster North, she and I have campaigned together on very many issues over the years in Westminster, and I know she's stepping down and she will be greatly missed. I have to also thank and blame perhaps the Honourable Member for Harlow, who's no longer here, who actually got me into the Conservative Party aged 19. And I will always be grateful for him. A long time ago, yes. But thank you to all the staff here, to the doorkeepers, the tea room, everybody. And I'll always miss having our sweepstakes with the doorkeepers outside about what time we're going to be finishing. And also to the...
Especially this way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm finishing. To the speakers, Mr Deputy Speaker, you and I have known each other far too long, 30 years, I think. And also to Mr Speaker, who has been an amazing support to me over the years as Westminster leader and now here in this place. And I also have to thank my family, to my husband, Alex, who it's his fault I'm leaving, I'm afraid. He is now in Abu Dhabi, living the dream and working very hard.
Tax-free life.
To my son Harry, who is doing his A-levels, doing his English A-level today. He would be here otherwise. I was 7 months pregnant with him when I first got elected, so he's known nothing but me being an elected politician. And to my gorgeous daughter Georgia, who is the reason why I'm here, really, because when she was first born in 2004, I was as determined to show her that women can achieve in public life. And so it's all her fault, really. That's how I want to end. I want to say to any girl watching this, or any mum of a girl watching this, you have every single right to stand for public office. It doesn't matter what your background is, where you're going, where you've been, you have got to consider standing for public office. We have got to hear more women's voices in this place and across all political spheres. We are 51% of the population. We give birth to the other 49%. We need to be heard. So, as I say, if this girl from Cardiff, from a comprehensive education, can become leader of Westminster City Council and then the first woman MP for the Cities of London and Westminster, then you can too.